So, hi everyone. I am back after a long hiatus between videos, and I'm really happy to be back to do a new video for you guys. This is my new work from this new Polish book out by Karolina Kubikowska. I really hope I did not mangle her name. The title of this book is Drugiej, Stronie. And when I posted this online, I got a lot of questions about it because I used eyeshadow on coloring this page. And I wanted to be able to show everyone how I did it and to be able to, answer some of the questions posted on my page about it. So you can use whatever coloring book you have for this, but I like working with this because the images already have some texture to it, and it's partly grayscale. So when you use the eyeshadow, it won't be so hard to put in new shades, air tones, and tints to it. I'm using bargain eyeshadow. My cousin got this for me at a shop, and it didn't cost me more than $7. So I'm not too guilty using it as coloring materials. And then you will need one or two brushes, whichever you're more comfortable with. I like to use smaller brushes for smaller areas, and I use a bigger brush for usually the background. You will also need some water. I'll more on that later. Some table napkins or paper towel. And finally, fixative, or if you don't have any fixative lying around, this is what I use. I just use regular old hairspray. And I usually pick the one with the most hold. And it's a really cheap alternative and a safe alternative if you have a household full of kids, because the fumes aren't as bad as professional grade fixative. So anyway, I'll be doing this page with the roses on it. I hope you guys can see clearly. And let's move our palette here so that you guys can see how I work with it. All right, there we go. And it's really quite simple. You want to start with the lightest shades first before moving into the darker part. So for me, I plan to make the roses like a nice carnation pink, but I want the tips of the roses to have a little yellow tint to it. So I'll start off with dipping my brush in the water. Even if it's really wet, don't worry about it. So I'm gonna just get some of this really nice gold color. You can treat it as if like you're working with watercolors. And I'll just dab it right on to the edge of the petals. What's good with eyeshadow is that it creates this really nice chalky, like very soft ethereal effect, which is quite hard to replicate with other media. And I actually just thought about using this because I've been seeing a lot of posts of people who have been using pan pastels, and to be honest, I'm still saving up for my own set. So here I am trying out different kinds of medium, which might achieve similar results. So as you can see, I am just putting water and dabbing it onto the edges of the petals. So let's do one more. One more. See just how fast that is? Not 2 seconds, just a few seconds, and I already got a lot of color down. Right? And then wash your brush. Dab on your table napkin to make sure it's clean. And then you can get water again, and then let's move on to the pink color that I wanted to use, which is this nice fuchsia looking tone. And the trick with this is to be very generous in applying it. Just grab. And what's good with this technique is if you have some old eyeshadow you haven't used yet, old or expired, then you can give them a second life by using them on your coloring books. Okay, so see how easy? I'm just dabbing all over the place. Not much, um, not much worry, so to speak, of where I place them. Okay. So the colors are very nice and subtle. Here, let me move the page so you can see. My eyeshadow has a bit of shimmer on it, which is a big plus because there are a lot of sets and colors out there that are glitter or metallic, and I really love using those as well. And instead of buying extra glitter pens, I'm glad that this technique lets me use my shimmery eyeshadow. Okay, I hope you can see the where the pink is going. Some more. See, I'm using a generous amount of water, and I believe the water is primarily so that you can place it on the paper. Remember that eyeshadow was meant to go on human skin, which is actually quite oily. So that's where the eyeshadow like grabs on and stays there. But since we're using paper, which is not oily, we need to use some sort of vehicle to get it to stay there. Okay, which is water in this case. So very fast, I'm just dabbing it right on. And you won't believe how fast I finished that other page. It was done in maybe less than an hour. So quite nice so far, I think. Again, wash your brush. And then this time I want to use 2 shades of green. So water again. And then I will always start with the lighter green. So I want to use, wait, I changed my mind. Let's use this one. And then I'll put it nearer to the tips of the leaves. Because if you look at leaves outside, the tips tend to be lighter than the ones nearer to the stem. So even if you like go over the lines, don't worry about it. It's part of the whole effect. See, I missed a couple of buds there. You see, quite fast. You see the greens. Really liking its effect. And some more like a lime green. I wash my brush, and then I want to switch to a nice deep green for my roses, the blue green. And it's really like as if I'm painting using chalk, and it's really nice and fast. And who would say that you didn't take too much time with it, with the kind of effect that you're achieving? Okay, so yeah, always a generous amount of water, but make sure not to put too much because otherwise you'll end up with really wrinkly paper, and we don't want that. Books with heavyweight paper or paper with at least 120 GSM would be good for this technique. But if you have books with really thin paper, it might not be a good idea because it might wrinkle. But if you don't mind the wrinkling, then go for it. Alright, so just touching up places which I forgot. And then just like that, we got that. I'll show you how to do a background really quick. So wash my brush, set that aside. I'll move on to use my bigger brush. And I want the inside of the flowers to be like illuminated. So I'll use a very light blue. And just dab it all around. Can you see? Alright. I hope it can be seen through the camera. And you must forgive me, I have an itchy throat right now. Excuse me. Alright. Back from a coughing fit. Oh. The weather here where I am really changes a lot, so all my allergies are up and running. But anyway. Oh, speaking of allergies, I have a lot, but thanks to the water being applied to the eyeshadow, I don't get too affected by this. Alright. And then without washing my brush, I'll switch to darker blue. Alright, and just blend it out. Just spread it. I use my brush to like diffuse and make the lines or the brush strokes not too apparent. Alright, quite fast. Who would say that in the span of this video we're able to finish coloring one whole page? So I just try and avoid the parts with the light blue. See? Just fill up the rest. And then after this layer, we're gonna spray some fixative on it because I want to do a second layer to add some more depth to our painting. Okay, so I'll be switching off for a minute to go and spray some fixative on my work. Be right back. Alright, I'm back. I sprayed it with fixative and I've waited a few minutes for it to dry up. The fixative is there to help the first layer sort of like set so that when I add more colors and tints into the page, it won't move. So, okay, let's continue. Now I want to add a bit of purple to my roses. Like a nice plum color. More water. And then I would put it near the base of each petal. That way I'm making it have a little bit more depth. And just by adding that purple touch, the flower looks more 3D. So this is something you could try with whatever you have at home, or if you're willing to run to the drugstore and get yourself some cheap and new eyeshadow, go for it. By the way, I've already tried it for skin tone and it really works wonderful. Okay, so see, and since I used purple on the flowers, I want to like add that detail to the background as well so that everything's tied up together. So I want to get some of this deep purple, and you can mix it with some of the light purple and just go over the background. I will be posting the finished version of my work later, or when I finish this. Of course, it will require some fine-tuning, but I think you guys get the idea of how to work this technique. Make sure to use fixative when you're done, because otherwise it will get erased to a degree, because the eyeshadow is not meant for paper. So get your hairspray out, or if you already have fixative at home for your pastels or your charcoal drawings, then that would be even better. So thank you guys for watching, and I hope you can visit my FB page and my Instagram. Both are under when Kathy Colors, and I would super appreciate it if you guys can give me a follow or a like, and if you could give my other videos a thumbs up as well. I have some plans for future videos, so please stay tuned. Thank you guys. Just leave your comments and questions in the comment box, and I'll try to answer as many as I can. Thank you.